These are all my thoughts and opinions based on public information in the public domain. Please do your own research, and this is for entertainment purposes only. Many people, and rightly so, have written emails to me telling me how frustrated they are because they have written to Buckingham Palace, to Parliament, and so forth, asking them to remove Prince Harry's titles. And of course, Parliament answers saying that that it's up to the Queen, anything and all matters related to royal titles, and of course, all the letters to the Queen fall on deaf ears because she doesn't really care. I'm serious. I mean, we should call it for what it is. She doesn't care about what people think, and she will do as she pleases. So, letters don't work, right? So the other solution is that they do have public social media. The Queen has, or Buckingham Palace has, the royal family Twitter account and Instagram account and YouTube accounts. But in the YouTube, I don't think they allow comments. But on Twitter and on Instagram, they do. So my advice to those who want to be heard and want people in the world to know how they feel and what they want is to go to their Twitter, to the Queen's Twitter account, and to UK Parliament account as well, because UK Parliament has a Twitter account. Go to both those accounts and write respectfully, say, with all due respect, please remove Harry from the royal website and remove all his titles. You don't need to mention Meghan Markle because she's irrelevant and she doesn't have any titles. The one with titles, the reason why Meghan Markle is in the website is because she's married to Harry. So if they're going to remove Harry, by extension, they remove her. So, and besides, you can't, or you can write your letters and post them as picture, take a screenshot of your letter and post it on their Twitter account with your thoughts and feelings, saying respectfully, we request that Harry be removed from the royal website along with all his titles. Post your letters on their social media account. Don't be afraid. I can guarantee you that even doing that scares a lot of people. They don't want to do it because they don't want us to be disrespectful. You're not being disrespectful by voicing an opinion. You are demanding something of the Queen. It is the Queen's duty to listen, to hear her subjects. So you can respectfully post your letters on the Twitter account and say, with all due respect, ma'am, please remove Harry from the royal website and remove all his titles. Because once all his titles, or make him a private citizen, once that, instead of saying remove his titles, you can say and make him a private citizen. No, because he is a private citizen. So say remove all his titles. If you post that on their media, it's public, number one, it's public. Everybody can see it, and you are being respectful. If anything, I believe that people are being disrespected because they're not being heard. They're not getting an answer. I can guarantee that most people who have written to the Queen asking her to remove Harry from the royal website and to remove all his titles don't get an answer. I haven't heard anybody saying they got an answer from the Queen in regards to that matter. They're simply ignored and filed away. So go to Twitter and go to Instagram. You can't post the picture, but you can leave a message saying, please remove Harry from the royal website and all his titles. You can do that. You can do it. And if you do it every day, keep at it every day. Keep at it every day. Because this is what people in the Queen's position count on the fact that, people will give up. Oh, they get bored. I'm here forever. I don't care what you have to say. That's really what it comes down to. I know it's harsh to hear, but it's true. Now, I wanted to talk about, I wanted to talk a little bit about, I actually even wrote it down. Let me see, because I forget. All these senators. First of all, this Democratic senator, Gallagher, I can't remember her name. She keeps going on saying that she will continue giving Meghan Markle's all other people's private numbers to Meghan Markle. so she can harass them, because that is harassment. So this senator is completely ignoring all all laws of privacy. Why doesn't she give Meghan Markle's phone numbers to the senators and leave it up to them whether they want to call her or not? Because she calls from ID block. And you know what's terrible? Let me tell you something. You know why she has no shame on doing this? Because she's been doing it for quite some time now. So it's become a habit. Remember when you do things often enough, even though they're wrong, but if you're not called out, it becomes the norm. So for Meghan Markle, it has become a norm that people should give her other people's private details, and she can do with them whatever she pleases. First of all, it is a security matter that the fact that this stupid Democratic senator, and go to her Twitter account if you want, look up her name and go to her Twitter account and tell her she has no right to give out private numbers. But what I'm surprised is that these senators are not calling her out on that, because Meghan Markle is a nobody. She is a nobody. And yet, I can guarantee you that you people from Maine or wherever these other senators are from, you don't have their private cell phone number. Meghan Markle is a completely unstable individual who shouldn't have these people's private numbers. If I were them, I would change them and give it up to anybody. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is the fact that these senators, there was Senator Jason Smith, I think, from the Beef State. They don't seem to know their laws. I mean, they are in the Senate, they're in Congress, and they don't know. And I mean, for us, one of my viewers, he said, all you have to do is go to the Foreign Emoluments Clause, which is there in Article 1, Section 9, C8. No title of nobility shall be granted by Congress, nor be recognized or used by any American citizen, and no nobility title granted by king, prince, or any royal family should be used in the United States. And in 1871, the Attorney General ruled, there was a court case ruling. It pertained a minister, but it ended up being the broadest spectrum of that, because it also talked about how, for example, if you are an American citizen, let's say you have dual citizenship. If you are an American citizen and you're also living in the other country where you're at, I know somebody, for example, who's Norwegian as well, and he had to write to Congress because he's a high-ranking diplomatic member of Norway, and that is not allowed. You can't. Yes, he's a citizen of Norway as well as the United States, but he cannot hold a high-ranking title or run for office in another country, even though he has citizenship, unless he gives up his American citizenship. He has to choose if he wants to be in an office or run for office or represent anybody. So that ruling also applies for that and defines that. So it is already that. There's also the title of, but that needs to be ratified. The titles of nobility amendment needs to be ratified, but it's just waiting signatures. So if I were these senators, I would get my act together and pass and ratify that Titles of Nobility Act. Also, Jason Smith, he doesn't seem to know any of this. He doesn't seem to understand that Meghan Markle is not British. She's not royal, but she is using a title. And again, I go back to the only way I can compare is the samples of, and why this is so delicate is because it is a title that she's using. She's not using her name for all the crazy things to cold call these senators, And she is advocating a political agenda from a political party, because this agenda comes from a political party using a title. Let me tell you, and what is worse now is that, the letter she sent to Congress. I can give you at least 4 lies right off the bat. Number 1, she says that she's writing as a private citizen. She's not, because that's the first lie. The first lie, why do I say that? because she's writing from the office of. That is not a letter from a private citizen. You cannot write as a private citizen using official stationery. That's just not the way it is. Number 2, her lies. Her lies that she was poor. That's the second lie. Her lies that she ate at Sizzler, that was her treat. Third lie. Her lie that she had to work from the age of 13 to make ends meet. Fifth lie. How many lies am I up to right now? The lies that, I'm going to be naughty and I'm going to say that the lies that she's a mother, but let's say that she's a mom. The lies that she represents, she's writing on behalf of other families. Which other families? Because families that are in her position do not need the bill passed. And also, this bill is wrongly worded. It's all wrong. It's a complete stupidity, that bill, because it's poorly done. It actually is a burden. It's not an advantage. But I'm not going to get into that. So is she on whose families is she writing on behalf? Because families that are wealthy like her don't need that bill. So, and I can guarantee you that nobody appointed her as the representative. That's what, line number 6 or 7, and then at the end, she says that she's writing on behalf of Lily and Archie and Harry. Why is she writing on behalf of Harry? Harry has nothing to do with that letter. He's a British foreign national, he has nothing to do there. And the 2 children, those children are not destitute. They don't need this bill. So why is she writing on their behalf? It makes absolutely no sense. And that's another lie. And then she signs off, not as Meghan Markle, but as the Duchess of Sussex, using a title. That's another lie. When she says, and that only reinforces the fact that she lied to begin with when she says she's writing as a private citizen and as a mother, because she clearly is not, So, but what is very, very disturbing is that just like with the Oprah interview, all of her lies are not called out. None of them are called out by anybody. And yet, instead, these Democratic senators, and the Republican ones, are failing to call her out on that, are failing to call out the fact that the Democrats are using a known, confirmed liar, a fantasist, a person who has slandered others, and who has who doesn't have any relationship to truth, as a role model for American women. You know what I mean? Let me tell you why this is important. Because that's the role model. And they know that she's using a British royal title. And all these senators know that is not allowed. That is illegal. But if they allow it to happen on and on and on, if instead of telling her, I'm sorry, you cannot use a royal title, we will not take your calls when you use a royal title. If you want to talk to us, and actually call it out in public, not as a funny thing, not as the royal family is neutral in U.S. politics. Of course it is. It's like saying that Ukraine is interfering with the U.S. politics. It's not a matter of being neutral. It's like they don't have any fucking right to be there. So instead of these senators saying, I will be happy to take a call, why would they be happy to take the call of a liar? Why would they be happy to take the phone call of a complete crazy nut who is a liar? Why aren't these senators complaining to the police, saying that this woman, this Democratic senator, is giving out their private phone numbers? Because that is a security risk. If this Democratic nut person gave her their private numbers to a complete stranger, based on the fact that she thinks of herself as special, that is a security threat. And they should call out this senator because that is wrong. But these are just my thoughts and opinions. So all these crazy senators are validating Meghan Markle's lies by not calling her out. Go to their press and say, listen, ma'am, you shouldn't be writing first to people. You calling anybody's private phone call, private numbers. There are offices for that. Number two, do it using your name. If you're a U.S. citizen, you're not a British royal. And British titles cannot be used for lobbying. We will not take your calls. And if, in fact, there's already a judgment in 1871 that prevents you from doing that. And instead of taking her calls, we're going to get together and ratify the Titles of Nobility Act that prohibits her from using a title unless she wants to give up her citizenship. So that's, in my opinion, what they should be doing. So go to the Queen's social media and post your letters, post your concerns and say, ma'am, we're tired of writing to you and we don't get an answer. With all due respect, please remove Harry from the royal website. Please remove all his titles. Ban him from using his titles. And post it on her Twitter account. Post it on Instagram. And go to UK Parliament again and do it. You know what? It's just a tweet. Do it every day. Do it every day. Do it every day. You know, just repost the same tweet every day until you get an answer. Because they don't, you know, private letters they can hide, but tweets they can't. Unless they start posting with comments, without comments, which will look very bad for them, you know. So just send that. If we manage to send, you know, 1,000, 2,000, you can do it respectfully. Say, ma'am, we've written to you. We don't get an answer. Please remove Harry from the royal website. Ban him from using all his titles. You have a platform, guys. The royal family's platform. To voice your opinions in public, so the whole public, the whole world gets to see what you're thinking. Do it respectfully. And in regards to those senators, instead of saying, I will be happy to take the phone call from a known, confirmed liar and slanderer and abusive, narcissistic person, we are going to get our asses together and we're going to pass the Titles of Nobility Act and stop her from using those titles. Because British titles or anybody using a title from foreign nations have no business lobbying in Congress. But these are just my thoughts. What do you guys think?